Hey, sports card fans, it's John Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. The 1959 Topps baseball set is anchored by the rookie card of Bob Gibson and other key Hall of Fame cards. The set offers a big change for vintage collectors in comparison to the previous releases. A new design, large checklist, and a variety of subsets means that the 1959 set is as memorable as it is groundbreaking. The set was exceedingly large by the standards of the day, weighing in with an impressive 572 cards. This was the largest Topps set in existence when it was originally released. The continued expansion of their baseball card set was made possible thanks to the lack of competition Topps faced following the buyout of Bowman. However, the Flair Gum Company attempted to take a bite out of Topps' market share when they snagged the exclusive rights to Ted Williams for the 1959 season. The 1959 Topps baseball design was quite the departure from the normal method of using a player image against a colored background with accompanied text. Instead, Topps used a modernized layout that features the player in a profile or full-length body pose. The player image is set inside a cutout circle that showcases a colored bottom and top border area. The player's name is printed in a bold lowercase font and set at a slight angle on the top area of the card. Finally, the bottom portion is reserved for the player's team name, logo, and fielding position. The popular facsimile signature is written toward the bottom of the picture image, also at an angle. Combined, these elements helped create the appearance that each 1959 Topps baseball card is a matted, autographed photo. Card backs, however, still utilize a more traditional layout detailing each player's name, hometown, and biographical information, as well as yearly and career statistics. A cartoon is used to highlight a memorable event in the player's life or career. The color scheme of the back has a Christmas look with its green and red highlighted sections. The 1959 Topps set was able to be expanded by utilizing multiple subsets of themed cards. This includes the Sporting News Rookie Stars of 1959, Baseball Thrills, and the Sporting News All-Stars, as well as combo cards and team checklists. Although the themed combo cards, team checklists, and All-Star cards are carried over from previous releases, the Sporting News Rookie Stars of 1959 cards offer a new option to highlight young players. Most of these Rookie Stars subsets cards are official rookie cards as well, but the bigger rookie card names are found in the traditional base set. This includes George Sparky Anderson, Felipe Alou, and Bob Gibson. Baseball Thrills covers notable events from the previous year. The high number series in the set, cards numbered 507 to 572, have the lowest print run of all the series in the set. While the low number cards, card numbers 1 through 110, are a bit easier to find, these cards were also issued in smaller quantities, putting a premium on the names like Mickey Mantle and others and Ford Frick. The MLB commissioner at the time, Frick, also enjoys an added boost as the first card in the set. In this video, I'm going to show off the top 10 most valuable cards from the 1959 Topps set. Since I'm now looking into the sets from the 1950s, I'll be basing the list on their PSA 5 values. Of course, I'll also give the values of those cards in higher grades, as well as the population count of those grades. Now, before I get to the cards in the top 10, here are the ones that just missed the top 10. At number 15, the Stan Musial card. At number 14, the Willie Mays All-Star card. At number 13, the Mantle Hits 42nd Homer for Crown card. At number 12, the Hank Aaron All-Star card. And at number 11, the Yogi Berra card. So, which cards made the top 10 list? Let's go find out. Coming in at number 10, we have the Baseball Thrills Mays Catch Makes Series History. In a PSA 5, there have been 416 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $104. In a PSA 6, there have been 527 graded copies They sell for around $120. There have been 499 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $228. There have been 408 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $533. There have been 52 graded A PSA 9. They sell for around $3,692. And there has been one graded A PSA 10. The last PSA 10 sale was in July of 2021 through Heritage, and it sold for $37,200, placing this Baseball Thrills Willie Mays card at the number 4 spot in terms of PSA 10 values on this top 10 list. At number 9, we have the Roger Maris card, his second year card. In a PSA 5, there have been 478 graded copies with a VCP average price also of $104. There have been 492 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $122. There have been 519 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $244. There have been 261 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $585. There have only been 13 graded A PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale was in May of 2022 through Memory Lane, and it sold for $4,670. And there's not been a PSA 10 graded copy of the Roger Maris card. At number 8, the Ernie Banks card. In a PSA 5, there have been 596 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $109. There have been 756 graded A PSA 6. They sell for $113. There have been 699 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $260. In a PSA 8, there have been 441 graded copies. They sell for around $688. There have been 52 graded A PSA 9. They sell for around $4,615. There have been 4 graded A PSA 10. The last PSA 10 sale was in April of 2022 through REA, and it sold for $96,000, placing the Ernie Banks at the number 2 spot in terms of PSA 10 values on this top 10 list. At number 7, the Sandy Koufax card. In a PSA 5, there have been 745 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $177. There have been 777 graded A PSA 6. They sell for around $207. There have been 414 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $554. There have been 179 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $2,924. There have only been 17 graded A PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale was in January of this year through Memory Lane, and it sold for $29,012, placing the Sandy Koufax at the number 5 spot in terms of PSA 9 graded cards on this top 10 list. And there has not been a PSA 10 graded copy of the Sandy Koufax card. At number 6, we have the Roberto Clemente card. In a PSA 5, there have been 1,230 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $180. There have been 1,483 graded A PSA 6. They sell for $243. There have been 1,130 graded A PSA 7. They sell for around $467. In a PSA 8, there have been 640 graded copies. They sell for around $1,042. There have been 56 graded A PSA 9. They sell for around $29,746, placing the Roberto Clemente at the number 4 spot in terms of PSA 9 values on this list. And there has not been a PSA graded or 10 graded copy of the Roberto Clemente card. At number 5, we have the Hank Aaron card. In a PSA 5, there have been 1,055 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $249. There have been 909 graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $398. In a PSA 7, there have been 569 graded copies. They sell for around $665. There have been 336 graded a PSA 8. They sell for around $2,268. There have been 27 graded a PSA 9. They sell for around $33,393, placing the Hank Aaron at the number 3 spot in terms of PSA 9 values on this list. And there has been one graded a PSA 10. However, that last PSA 10 sale was all the way back in January of 2018 through memory lane. It sold for $26,976. At that level, it would put the Hank Aaron also at the number 5 spot in terms of PSA 10 values on this list. But who knows what that one PSA 10 graded card would sell for today, most likely above the current average PSA 9 price of $33,000 and change. At number 4, we have the Mickey Mantle All-Star card. In a PSA 5, there have been 629 graded copies, with a current VCP average price of $260. There have been 673 graded PSA 6. They sell for around $352. There have been 521 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $667. In a PSA 8, there have been 311 graded copies. They sell for around $1,428. In a PSA 9, there have been 41 graded copies. They sell for around $5,122. There have been 2 graded a PSA 10. The only PSA 10 sale in VCP's database took place in June of 2005 through SCP auctions, and it only sold for $6,600. So you can imagine what one of those PSA 10 cards would sell for today. At number 3, we have the Willie Mays card. In a PSA 5, there have been 945 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $266. There have been 1,041 copies graded a PSA 6. They sell for around $500. In a PSA 7, there have been 777 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $784. There have been 388 graded a PSA 8. They sell for around $2,019. There have been 46 graded a PSA 9. They sell for around $19,800. There have been 5 graded a PSA 10. The last PSA 10 was in April of 2018 through Heritage, and it sold for $40,800, placing the Willie Mays at the number 3 spot as well in terms of PSA 10 values. All right, at number 2, we have the Bob Gibson rookie card. In a PSA 5, there have been 933 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $730. There have been 1,064 graded copies in a PSA 6. They sell for around $1,057. There have been 715 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $1,998. There have been 387 graded a PSA 8. They sell for around $5,295. There have been 32 graded a PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale was in August of 2022 through REA, and it sold for $49,200, placing the Bob Gibson also at the number 2 spot in terms of PSA 9 graded copies. And there has been 3 graded a PSA 10. The last PSA 10 sale was in February of 2021 through Heritage, and it sold for $324,000, placing the Bob Gibson at the number 1 spot in terms of PSA 10 graded cards on this list. And of course, the number 1 spot from the 1959 top set, yes, the Mickey Mantle. In a PSA 5, there have been 1,494 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $791. There have been 1,310 graded copies in a PSA 6. They sell for around $1,339. There have been 788 graded a PSA 7. They sell for around $2,173. There have been 323 graded a PSA 8. They sell for around $8,461. There have only been 25 graded a PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale was in January of 2023 through Heritage and sold for $117,000. Placing the Mickey Mantle also at the number 1 spot in terms of PSA 9 values on this list. Now, there has been one graded a PSA 10, but there have been no reported sales of that PSA 10 in VCP's database, so it's anyone's guess at what that one PSA 10 Mickey Mantle would sell for today. There you go, the top 10 most valuable cards from the 1959 Top Set. Would love to know in the comments what you think about the 1959 Top Set, as well as the cards that made the top 10 list. And if you've missed any of the videos in this series, here are 2 that you can check out. With that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.